The alert came during Earth's quietest hour, when the night shift at Global Defense Command was running routine system checks. At first, Lieutenant Sarah Wu dismissed the quantum sensor ping as another deep space anomaly. But when three more followed in rapid succession, her hands froze over the holographic display. "Commander Rodriguez," she called out, her voice cutting through the low hum of the command center. "We're picking up multiple quantum ruptures in the Lumini home system." Commander Elena Rodriguez looked up from her data pad, dark eyes narrowing as she processed the information. The Lumini had been Earth's first alien contact 15 years ago, introducing humanity to faster-than-light travel and helping them establish their first interstellar trade routes. More importantly, they had become Earth's closest allies in a galaxy that often viewed humanity as little more than clever primates who had recently learned to break free of their gravity well. "Show me," Rodriguez ordered, striding to the main tactical display. The holographic representation of Lumini space materialized before them, showing dozens of massive vessels emerging from quantum space. Their energy signatures were unlike anything in Earth's database. "Unknown configuration," Wu reported, her fingers dancing across the sensor readouts. "But they're generating enough power to rival a small star. Weapons are hot, and they're deploying what looks like siege platforms around multiple Lumini worlds." Rodriguez's jaw tightened. "Get me Ambassador Lyran. Now." The quantum comm crackled to life, but instead of the familiar melodic voice of the Lumini ambassador, they heard only chaos. Screams and explosions punctuated bursts of static. Finally, a voice cut through. "Earth Command. This is Ambassador Lyran. The Drachnid Empire. They're here. They're bombing our cities, our colonies. Everything. Hold on, Ambassador. We'll—" "No." Lyran's voice was sharp with urgency. "Listen to me, Elena. We never told them about you, about what humanity has achieved. The Empire believes Earth is a primitive world, barely capable of interstellar flight. We've been hiding your true capabilities all these years, protecting you from their attention." Rodriguez exchanged shocked glances with her staff. The Lumini had always seemed impressed by Earth's technological progress, but never overly so. Now she understood why. The Empire destroys any civilization they see as a potential threat. Lyran continued, coughing. "We couldn't let that happen to Earth. Not after everything we've seen you achieve. The quantum barriers you developed in months that took us centuries. Your adaptive AI networks. The improvements you made to our own designs." Another explosion rocked the transmission. "They're coming. Elena, humanity is ready. More ready than they know. The Empire believes they can isolate Earth by destroying your allies first. Show them how wrong they are. Show them." The transmission cut to static. Rodriguez stood silent for a moment, processing the implications. The Lumini hadn't been patronizing humanity all these years. They'd been protecting them, deliberately downplaying Earth's achievements to the wider galaxy. And now they were paying the price for that friendship. "Lieutenant Wu," she said finally, her voice steel. "Initiate Protocol Omega." Authorization Rodriguez Alpha 70. Wu's eyes widened. "Commander, that would reveal everything." "Yes." Rodriguez turned to address the entire command center. "The Drachnid Empire thinks they're being clever, eliminating our allies before turning their attention to the primitive humans. They don't know that while they were watching our civilian ships fumble through basic FTL jumps, we were building something else entirely." Across the solar system, hidden quantum signatures began to emerge. Orbital platforms that had masqueraded as communications satellites revealed their true nature. Seemingly derelict space stations shimmered as advanced cloaking fields deactivated. And deep within the asteroid belt, the first ships of humanity's real fleet began powering up. "Alert all commands," Rodriguez ordered. "Break out the quantum weapons, wake up the AI cores, and get me the Defense Council. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do." The next few hours passed in a blur of activity. The Defense Council convened an emergency session, authorizing the deployment of Earth's hidden capabilities. As reports of the devastation in Lumini space continued to arrive, humanity prepared for war. Rodriguez stood in the observation deck of Global Defense Command, watching as the first wave of Earth's true fleet assembled in high orbit. The ships were sleek, deadly, and unlike anything the public had ever seen. Quantum drives that had been refined and improved upon from the original Lumini designs. Weapon systems that married human ingenuity with alien technology. And at their core, hybrid AI systems that represented the perfect synthesis of human creativity and machine precision. Fleet reports ready, Commander, Wu announced from behind her. All ships showing green across the board. The Drachnids won't know what hit them. Rodriguez nodded, her reflection grim in the reinforced window. The Empire thinks they're teaching us a lesson by attacking the Lumini. Instead, they're about to learn one themselves. She turned to face her lieutenant. Never strike at humanity's friends. We take that personally. Across Earth's orbital space, quantum drives began to spin up. The Drachnid Empire had made a fatal mistake. They assumed that by destroying Earth's allies first, they would leave humanity isolated and vulnerable. Instead, they had given Earth's hidden fleet the perfect reason to reveal itself, not as a defensive force, but as the spearhead of a rebellion that would shake the Empire to its foundations. All ships prepare for quantum jump, Rodriguez commanded. Battle Plan Theta is in effect. Let's show the Empire exactly what they've awakened. As the fleet prepared to make the jump to Lumini space, Rodriguez thought about the message they were about to send to the galaxy. Humanity had been dismissed as too young, too primitive to have a real place among the stars. Now they would show everyone that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their unwavering loyalty to their friends. The time for hiding was over. Earth was going to war. Dr. James Chen's underground laboratory beneath the Mariana Trench hummed with activity as Project Prometheus came fully online for the first time. Quantum cores pulsed with barely contained energy as rows of hybrid AI matrices synchronized across the global defense network. For 15 years, this facility had remained Earth's best-kept secret, a fusion of human innovation and reverse-engineered alien technology that even the Lumini hadn't known existed. Quantum network synchronization at 98%, announced Dr. Maya Patel, her dark fingers flying across holographic controls. AI cores are operating within expected parameters. The entire system is ready, James. Chen nodded, his weathered face reflected in multiple screens showing real-time data from the first engagement in Lumini space. Commander Rodriguez's fleet had already engaged the Drachnid forces, and the enemy's confusion was evident in their disorganized response. They'd expected to find primitive ships with basic weapons. Instead, they'd encountered vessels that could match or exceed their own capabilities. They still don't understand what they're facing, Chen murmured, watching as another Drachnid dreadnought fell to the combined fire of Earth's quantum weaponry. They think these are just ships with good weapons. They haven't realized what's really fighting them. Deep within each Earth vessel, hybrid AI cores processed combat data at speeds that organic minds couldn't match. But unlike pure artificial intelligence, these systems were built on neural patterns derived from veteran human pilots and tacticians. They combined machine precision with human intuition and creativity, a synthesis that had proven devastatingly effective in simulations and was now proving itself in actual combat. A priority alert flashed across Chen's primary display. 3 Lumini refugee ships had broken through the Drachnid blockade, carrying survivors and something else. Detailed scans of the Empire's flagship vessels taken during the initial assault. Download that data immediately, Chen ordered. Cross-reference with our combat telemetry. I want to know everything about how their ships work. As the analysis began, patterns emerged that confirmed Chen's suspicions. The Drachnid Empire's technological superiority relied heavily on brute force. Massive energy outputs, overwhelming firepower, and rigid tactical doctrines that had served them well against less advanced species. but their systems lacked the adaptability that humans had built into every aspect of their own ships. Their quantum shielding, Maya noted, highlighting specific data points. It's more powerful than ours, but it's static. They never thought they'd need to make it adaptive because no one had weapons that could breach it. Chen allowed himself a grim smile. No one until now. Transmit this analysis to the fleet. Tell them to start varying their quantum weapon frequencies. Let's see how those shields handle attacks that change faster than they can compensate for. The results were immediate and devastating. Across the battlefield, Drachnid ships began falling to weapons they should have been able to shrug off. Their rigid shield systems, designed to withstand enormous amounts of standard energy weapons, proved vulnerable to Earth's rapidly shifting quantum attacks. But Chen knew this was just the beginning. The Drachnids would adapt eventually. Their empire hadn't survived this long by being stupid. That's why Project Prometheus had been designed with multiple layers of escalation in mind. Maya, initiate Phase 2, he ordered. Wake up the deep space platforms. Throughout the solar system and beyond, quantum signatures began to emerge from carefully hidden positions. Automated weapons platforms, research stations, and monitoring outposts that had been collecting data on passing ships for years revealed themselves. Each one contained a scaled-down version of the hybrid AI cores, allowing them to operate independently while remaining part of humanity's coordinated defense network. "Sir," one of the junior scientists called out, "we're receiving transmissions from multiple non-human sources. They're asking to help." Chen moved to the communications station, reading the incoming signals with growing interest. Several species that had suffered under Drachnid rule were reaching out, offering intelligence, resources, and support. They'd been watching Earth's response to the attack on the Lumini, and for the first time in generations, they saw hope. "The Empire's greatest weakness," Chen said, addressing his team, "isn't their rigid technology or their predictable tactics. It's their absolute certainty that they're superior to everyone else. They never considered that while they were watching us fumble around with our first interstellar ships, we might be learning from every alien vessel that passed through our space. That we might be studying their weaknesses, improving their designs, and preparing for exactly this moment." A new alert drew their attention back to the main display. The Drachnid fleet was regrouping, bringing in reinforcements from nearby systems. Their initial shock at Earth's capabilities was wearing off, replaced by the full might of an empire that had dominated the galaxy for centuries. "They're calling for their entire sector fleet," Maya reported, her voice tense. "At least 30 capital ships, plus support vessels." Chen straightened, his expression resolute. "Good. The more ships they commit to this battle, the more they'll have to explain when we destroy them. Activate the quantum entanglement network. It's time to show them what Project Prometheus can really do." Across every Earth ship and platform, hybrid AI cores synchronized on a quantum level, sharing data and adapting strategies faster than light could travel. The Drachnid Empire had feared the emergence of new spacefaring races that might challenge their dominance. In their arrogance, they'd failed to recognize that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their ability to learn, adapt, and improve upon everything they encountered. As the massive Drachnid reinforcement fleet began emerging from quantum space, Chen sent a final message to Commander Rodriguez. "All systems are go. Show them why you don't underestimate Earth." The battle was about to enter a new phase, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Maya Patel stood on the bridge of the EFS Hyperion, watching as the combined fleet prepared for humanity's first major offensive against the Drachnid Empire. The initial battles in Lumini space had proven Earth's capabilities, but now came the true test, taking the fight directly to the enemy's doorstep. "Final system check complete," announced Captain David Walsh from his tactical station. "All ships report quantum drives synchronized and hybrid cores operating at peak efficiency." The fleet assembled before them represented everything humanity had secretly prepared for the last 15 years. 200 ships of varying classes, each powered by quantum cores, and guided by hybrid AI systems that combined human intuition with machine precision. But more importantly, they weren't alone anymore. Scattered among the Earth vessels were ships of various designs and origins, refugees and rebels from dozens of species who had suffered under Drachnid rule. The Empire's attack on the Lumini had finally given them the hope and opportunity they needed to fight back. Message from the Arconian contingent, Lieutenant Santos reported. Their stealth systems are calibrated and ready. The Cerebian heavy cruisers also report ready for the first phase of Operation Shadow Strike. Patil nodded, her expression focused. The plan they'd developed was ambitious, perhaps even reckless by conventional military standards. But as humans had proven time and again, convention was often just another word for limitation. Begin quantum jump sequence, she ordered. All ships maintain emission control until we reach the target. Space itself seemed to bend as the massive fleet engaged their drives, slipping into quantum space with a precision that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Their destination was the Drachnid Empire's primary logistics hub in the Centaurus Arm, a massive complex of space stations and shipyards that supplied their forces across 3 sectors. The journey took hours, even with their advanced quantum drives. Patil used the time to review the intelligence they'd gathered. The Drachnids had ruled through fear and overwhelming force for so long that they'd become predictable. Their supply lines were efficient but rigid, their defense patterns standardized across their territory. They'd never needed to adapt because no one had seriously challenged them in centuries. That was about to change. The fleet emerged from quantum space at precisely calculated points around the Centaurus hub. Before the Drachnid sensors could even register their presence, the Arconian stealth ships had already infiltrated the facility's defensive grid, their advanced cloaking technology, now enhanced by Earth's quantum systems, rendering them virtually invisible. Phase 1 initiated, Walsh announced. Arconian teams are uploading the viral AI packages now. Throughout the hub's network, specialized versions of Earth's hybrid AI cores began spreading, disrupting communications and defense systems. Unlike conventional computer viruses, these programs could think and adapt, outmaneuvering the Empire's cyber defenses with strategic creativity that pure machine logic could never match. The Drachnid response was predictably rigid. Defense platforms activated in predetermined patterns, ships moved to intercept according to standard tactical doctrines. But their coordination was already compromised, their supposedly impregnable quantum communications network infiltrated and corrupted. Multiple Drachnid dreadnoughts detecting our presence, Santos reported. They're moving to engage, but their formations are scattered. The AI disruption is working. Patel allowed herself a small smile. Begin Phase 2. Let's show them what real coordination looks like. The Earth fleet moved as one, their hybrid AI cores synchronized through quantum entanglement. Each ship knew exactly where every other vessel would be, could predict and support their allies' actions with microsecond precision. The Cerebian heavy cruisers provided devastating long-range fire, while Earth's more maneuverable vessels executed complex attack patterns that would have been impossible for organic pilots alone. The Drachnid commanders tried to adapt, but centuries of rigid hierarchy and standardized tactics worked against them. Their ships had more raw power, their weapons could deliver devastating blows, but they couldn't match the fluid, ever-changing strategies of the Earth-led fleet. Enemy flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack, Walsh reported. They're trying to consolidate their forces around the main shipyards. Exactly as expected, Paddle responded. Signal the Nomad squadrons. Execute Phase 3. From the darkness of space emerged a dozen ships of unique design, the contribution of the mysterious Nomad Collective, who had been fighting a guerrilla war against the Empire for generations. Their vessels, originally designed for hit-and-run tactics, had been upgraded with Earth's quantum technology. They struck at the Drachnid formation from impossible angles, their advanced sensor scattering systems, making them appear to be everywhere and nowhere at once. The battle transformed into chaos, at least from the Drachnid perspective. But for the Earth fleet and their allies, Every movement was precisely calculated, every attack coordinated through their quantum-linked AI network. They weren't just winning through superior firepower or technology. They were winning through adaptation, creativity, and cooperation. Main shipyards have been breached, Santos announced. Cerebian cruisers are beginning their attack run. Arconian teams report all critical systems have been compromised. Patel watched as the massive complex began to break apart under the combined assault. The destruction of this facility would cripple Drachnid operations across multiple sectors, but the strategic victory wasn't the most important outcome of this battle. Broadcast on all frequencies, she ordered. Let everyone see what happens when the galaxy stands together. Across thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched as the supposedly invincible Drachnid Empire suffered a devastating defeat. They saw ships of different designs working in perfect concert, former enemies united against a common foe. But more importantly, they saw hope, proof that the Empire could be beaten. That change was possible. As the last Drachnid vessels retreated in disarray, Patel received word that multiple other species were reaching out to Earth, offering their support and resources. The Empire had tried to isolate humanity by attacking their allies. Instead, they had given Earth the opportunity to forge new alliances, stronger than any the galaxy had seen before. Set course for the rendezvous point, Patel commanded, and send word to Earth. Tell them Phase 1 of Operation Shadow Strike is complete. The real war is about to begin. The fleet disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind the burning ruins of the Empire's logistics hub. The message was clear. Humanity wouldn't just fight to defend their friends. They would fight to free the galaxy. And they had the means, the will, and now the allies to do exactly that. Captain Thomas Okoro walked through the massive docking bay of Earth's newly commissioned Unity Station, marveling at the sight before him. Ships of every imaginable design filled the space, sleek Cerebian cruisers, crystalline Arconian stealth vessels, bioorganic Nexus ships, and dozens of other varieties he was still learning to identify. Just 3 months ago, these species had been scattered and isolated under Drachnid rule. Now they were united, preparing for what might be the most important battle in galactic history. Quite a sight, isn't it? Dr. James Chen fell into step beside him, the scientist's eyes bright with excitement. Every one of those ships represents a different approach to solving the challenges of space travel. And now we're learning from all of them. The station's quantum cores hummed with energy as engineers from 20 different species worked together, combining technologies and tactics that had never been united before. Earth's hybrid AI systems had proven to be the perfect foundation for this collaboration, capable of integrating widely different technological approaches into a coherent whole. The Drachnids are pulling back to their core systems, Okoro noted, reviewing the latest tactical updates on his neural interface. After we destroyed their logistics hub, they'd lost control of nearly 30% of their territory. Chen nodded. They're falling back on their most fundamental weakness, the belief that raw power is the answer to everything. They think if they concentrate their forces around their most important worlds, they'll be invulnerable. They reached the station's central command center, where representatives from the allied species had gathered. The room was a testament to human adaptability. Environmental controls created distinct zones for species with different atmospheric needs, while quantum translation systems enabled seamless communication across dozens of languages. Ambassador Lyra of the surviving Lumini stood at the main tactical display, her crystalline form still bearing scars from her escape from her homeworld. Our long-range scouts report the Empire is constructing massive defensive installations around their core systems. They're committing almost their entire fleet to a single defensive sphere. Let them, Okoro replied, stepping up to the display. They still think this is just about military strength. They haven't figured out what really makes Earth dangerous. He gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show the combined Allied fleet. Earth vessels formed the core, but they were now supplemented by ships and technology from every member of the Alliance. Each species had contributed not just their military forces, but their unique knowledge and capabilities. The Drachnids conquered through force, Okoro continued. They maintained control while keeping species isolated, preventing them from combining their knowledge. But humans, we look at different ideas and see opportunities. Every ship, every technology, every tactical doctrine. We learn from it all, adapt it, improve it, and share those improvements with our allies. The Nexus representative, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline matrix, pulsed in agreement. Your hybrid AI cores have revolutionized our own bioorganic computing systems. The synthesis of machine logic and organic creativity. It's something we never considered possible. That's what the Empire fears most, Chen added. Not our weapons or our ships, but our ability to bring people together, to combine different approaches into something greater than the sum of its parts. A priority alert flashed across the command center's displays. Long-range quantum sensors had detected massive energy signatures from the Drachnid core worlds. The Empire was preparing for what they believed would be their final stand. They're activating something big, reported Commander Rodriguez, who had joined them via quantum projection from her flagship. Energy readings unlike anything we've seen before. They must have been hiding their own superweapon. Okoro studied the data, but instead of concern, he felt a surge of anticipation. Good. Let them reveal everything they have. It'll make defeating them mean that much more. He turned to address the assembled representatives. The Empire thinks they know what they're facing. A coalition of lesser species led by upstart humans. They believe that by showing their ultimate weapon, they'll make us hesitate, maybe even retreat. The tactical display updated, showing the latest analysis of the Drachnid energy signatures. Their super weapon appeared to be a massive quantum disruption device, capable of destroying entire fleets by destabilizing their quantum drives. What they don't understand, Okoro continued, is that we've been preparing for exactly this moment. Every battle, every engagement. We weren't just fighting, we were learning. And now we're ready to show them what real power looks like. He nodded to Chen, who activated a secure quantum channel to Earth's hidden research facilities. Project Prometheus was never just about developing better weapons or faster ships. It was about creating something the Empire couldn't comprehend. True cooperation between different species and technologies. The display shifted again, showing new modifications being applied to the Allied fleet. Cerebian quantum shielding merged with Arconian stealth systems. Nexus bioorganic computers enhanced by Earth's hybrid AI cores. Dozens of different technologies, all working in perfect harmony. The Empire united us, Okoro declared, looking at each of the assembled representatives. They thought attacking Earth's allies would leave us isolated and vulnerable. Instead, they gave us the opportunity to show the galaxy a better way. Around Unity Station, the combined fleet began moving into formation. Ships that would have once been enemies now flew side by side, their crews working together with a coordination that would have seemed impossible just months ago. All ships, prepare for quantum jump, Okoro ordered. We're going to show the Drachnid Empire exactly what they've created. A force that doesn't rely on superweapons or brute force, but on the combined strength and wisdom of the entire galaxy. As the fleet prepared for what might be their final battle, Okoro felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had been dismissed as primitives, barely worth noticing in the grand scheme of galactic politics. Now they were leading the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever seen, proving that true strength came not from domination, but from unity. The time had come to end the Empire's reign, not through overwhelming force, but through the power of species working together toward a common goal. The Drachnids were about to learn the most important lesson of all. Never underestimate humanity's ability to bring people together. The Drachnid home system loomed before the Allied fleet, its defenses bristling with enough firepower to annihilate entire armadas. At the heart of their formation hung the quantum disruption device, a massive construct of crystalline arrays and dark energy collectors that pulsed with ominous power. From her position on the bridge of the ESS Hyperion, Commander Elena Rodriguez watched as the final pieces of humanity's greatest gambit fell into place. "All ships report ready," Captain Thomas Okoro announced from his tactical station. "Allied vessels have synchronized their quantum matrices with our hybrid AI network. We're as ready as we'll ever be." The combined fleet represented every species that had suffered under Drachnid rule, now united under Earth's leadership. Their ships had been modified with integrated technologies that the Empire had never dreamed possible. Cerebian quantum shields merged with Arconian stealth systems, Nexus biocomputers enhanced by human AI cores, all working in perfect harmony. Message from the Drachnid Command, Lieutenant Wu reported. They're laughing at us. Their High Admiral says, and I quote, "Even united, you're nothing but primitives playing with technology you barely understand. Witness true power." The quantum disruption device flared to life, its energy signature climbing to astronomical levels. This was the Empire's ultimate weapon, designed to tear apart the quantum drives of any ship within its range. By all known laws of physics, the Allied fleet should have been completely vulnerable. Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "Send our response. Thank you for confirming our analysis. Begin Operation Phoenix." Across the Allied fleet, systems that had appeared to be standard quantum drives suddenly transformed. Dr. Chen's voice came through the command channel, calm and confident. "Quantum inverters active. Counter-resonance field establishing. The Empire's about to learn why you don't show your trump card until you're sure you know what you're facing." The massive disruptor beam lashed out, expecting to find conventional quantum drives to destabilize. Instead, it encountered something unprecedented, drives that had been specifically redesigned to absorb and redirect quantum energy. Every ship in the Allied fleet had been modified based on data gathered from previous encounters, their systems rebuilt to turn the Empire's greatest weapon against them. "Energy absorption at 60% and climbing," Okoro reported. "All ships maintaining position. The Drachnids, they're not adapting. They're still pouring power into the weapon." "Of course they are," Rodriguez replied. "Their entire civilization is built on the idea that more power is always the answer. They can't conceive of a solution that doesn't involve brute force." The disruptor's beam intensified, its controllers presumably believing that enough raw power could overcome any defense. But with each increase in energy, the Allied ships' modified drives absorbed more, channeling it through their linked network in a way that should have been technologically impossible. "Absorption at maximum capacity," Dr. Chen announced. "All ships showing green for Phase 2. We can initiate the reversal whenever you're ready, Commander." Rodriguez took a deep breath, knowing that this moment would be remembered for generations to come. "To all ships, execute Operation Phoenix, Phase 2. Show them what happens when the galaxy stands together." The absorbed energy surged back through the linked fleet, amplified and transformed by their combined technologies. Cerebian quantum matrices provided precision. Arconian systems added unpredictability. Nexus biocomputers contributed adaptation, and Earth's hybrid AIs coordinated it all. The result was a cascade of energy that no single species could have produced alone. The Drachnid weapon tried to adjust, its controllers finally realizing something was wrong. But centuries of rigid thinking and technological stagnation had left them unable to adapt quickly enough. The combined power of their own weapon, redirected through dozens of different technological approaches they had never bothered to understand, crashed back into their defense grid. "Their primary shields are collapsing," Okoro reported, his voice tight with controlled excitement. "Secondary defenses, tertiary, they're all failing. The weapon itself is going critical." The massive disruption device began to break apart, its crystalline structure unable to contain the energies it had tried to unleash. Throughout the Drachnid formation, ships that had relied on brute force and standardized tactics found themselves facing an enemy that could adapt faster than their commanders could give orders. "Send the final message," Rodriguez commanded. "To all Drachnid forces. Your empire was built on the assumption that might makes right, That technological superiority comes from raw power alone. Today, you face the combined creativity, knowledge, and determination of every species you tried to keep isolated and afraid. Surrender now, or watch everything you built crumble before the power of true unity. The response came within minutes, as the remnants of their superweapons scattered into space and their defensive formations crumbled. The Drachnid High Command finally recognized the inevitable. Station by station, ship by ship, the Empire's forces began powering down their weapons. "They're surrendering," Wu announced, her voice filled with wonder. "All across their territory, the Empire is actually surrendering." Rodriguez stood at the center of her bridge, watching as the combined fleet moved to secure the Drachnid homeworld. The empire that had dominated the galaxy through fear and overwhelming force had been defeated not by superior firepower, but by the very thing they had tried to prevent. Species working together, combining their knowledge and strengths. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. Tell them that a new era has begun." As the Alliance ships moved into position around the Drachnid capital, Rodriguez reflected on how far they had come. Humanity had been dismissed as primitives, barely worth noticing in galactic affairs. The Empire had thought they could isolate Earth by destroying their allies. Instead, they had created the very thing they feared most, a force that could unite the galaxy not through dominance, but through cooperation and shared purpose. The war was over, but humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy was just beginning. They had proven that true strength came not from having the biggest weapons or the most powerful technology, but from bringing people together, learning from each other, and facing challenges as one. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and it would be built not on fear and isolation, but on unity and understanding. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had been fighting for all along.